You're listening to Let's Stay Together Anime Break, the subseries of Let's Stay Together where we talk about the 2019 anime Fruits Basket. I'm Ellen.
And I'm Kayla.
And today we're discussing Season 2, Episode 4. It wasn't called Let's Go and Get You Changed. What was it called?
I got dumped.
Oh, I got dumped. Yeah. Today we're discussing Season 2, Episode 4, which was called I Got Dumped. We're going to do our spoiler-free summary discussion. Spoiler, and then spoilers. Yeah. We've only made like 100 episodes, and maybe not 100, but like probably at least 75.
Kind of do the thing, that we do.
Yeah, it's the thing we've been doing for the last year. You all know the drill. Everybody knows the drill by now. If this is your first episode that you're listening to, hi and welcome to Let's Stay Together.
We're not usually this aggressive.
I'm
at least
caffeinated.
At the beginning.
Definitely not at the beginning. You never know what happens through the course of the episode. I try to keep it like upbeat, pleasantly upbeat in the beginning, and then we usually move to sadness at some point, and then some jokes to bring it around. Hope everybody's excited for that once again. So this episode of the anime covered the content that was in chapters 43, and then like the end of 45, and then maybe some other stuff. There were some additional scenes, but I couldn't place them to a specific part of the manga this time. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that. We covered these chapters in our episodes 22 and 23, if anybody wants to go back and listen to those. And I think we've covered all of the content from those so far, because there was like something that was shifted in. All the stuff with Ritsu, which was already in the first season of the anime, was in that part of the manga, so you're safe. You're safe now, is what I'm saying. I don't think there's anything else that's spoiled by those chapters, but anyway, this episode opens at Soma General Hospital. I feel like they should have just called the whole series Soma General Hospital.
Yeah.
Also, I've never seen General Hospital, so that's the extent of my General Hospital jokes. I hope everyone's happy. I mean, Haru comes in to visit Rin again, the girl that we saw at the end of the last season, and also, I think briefly at the beginning of this season, but Haru briefly visited her a few episodes ago. She tells him to get out. He sets up flowers that he brought for her, and then she knocks the vase off the tray. I don't need them, and I don't need you, she says. I'm tired of you. And we cut to the credits. Great opening.
Dun, dun, dun.
So excited.
It's going good.
It's great so far. Nothing can go wrong. At school, Miji runs to find Yuki, Kyo, and Tohru. He calls for them. It's really bad! And slides open the door. Uo says things are bad here, too. It turns out the kids are talking about their class trip to Kyoto and Nara this fall. And Kyo is grouchy because Yuki is in their group. Uo says it's nice to have him around. To tease him. What am I, your toy? He says. Hana and Uo nod at the same time. Kyo, you Dumbo, Momiji shouts and rubs a folder on his hair to charge it with static electricity. You get to go with Tohru. Don't be so selfish. I wish I could go with her. I want to eat dear senbei with her. It was like you can't eat them. Kyo, don't you want to do stuff with Tohru? Momiji shouts. Of course he starts to say, but then he stops and blushes. Of course, Hana says. Of course, Uo says. Of course, Momiji says. See, this is exactly how you all mess with me, Kyo shouts. And Yuki, who has returned from his student council duties, watches from the hallway and then joins them inside the classroom. Momiji greets him and the kids follow up on his screaming from earlier. Oh yeah, it's bad. Haru turned black and he's on a rampage in the classroom, Momiji says, and the kids all go to investigate. All the other kids from Momiji's class and the teachers stand outside the classroom. Kyo, Yuki, Momiji, and Tohru enter the class. Yuki leads the way and asks Haru what happened. Haru kicks a desk. I'm on a rampage, can't you tell? He says. Kyo tells him to cut the crap, and they argue, and Yuki tries to calm Haru down. Haru responds with sass as well, of course. They just don't want anyone to find out about their secret, he says. You'd feel better if we just let everyone know. You too, he says, grabbing Tohru by the arm. Don't you think so? Kyo pushes Tohru back and punches Haru away. I don't know what you're so pissed about, but don't get Tohru involved, he says. Kyo and Haru are about to fist fight, but Great Teacher Mayuko dumps a bucket of water on their heads. Kyo complains about why he had to get wet too. I do feel refreshed, Haru says after a moment, clearly back to his white self. Mayuko sasses him to go to the faculty office. After the chaos, the kids chat in the hallway. Yuki wonders what made Haru so upset and go black. Momiji says that he's been down a little. Haru joins them eventually after undoubtedly getting chewed out by the teachers, and he apologizes to Tohru and tells Kyo, nice fight, and then leaves to wait for his parents to arrive. Yuki follows after Haru. Tohru worries, and Kyo tells her to stay away from him while he's in black mode. She could get hurt, and she protests. I couldn't stand that happening, is what Kyo wants to say, I'm sure, Momiji chimes in after listening to their argument. Kyo is embarrassed, but catches sight of his bracelet on his wrist. And he leaves. We cut away to the classroom, now clean except for the broken windows, and Yuki finds Haru. I guess cleaning fairies really do exist. A mystery, he says, and Yuki's like, no, the girls from your class cleaned it up. Yuki's about to sass him, but Haru interrupts. You know, you should call her Tohru too, he says. And Yuki remembers Kyo intervening in the fight earlier. Yuki tells Haru to worry about himself right now. He's always thinking of other people, like Kisa. He has the strength to be supportive of others when he's stressed, unlike Yuki. I still keep the lid shut on the feelings I don't want to feel, Yuki thinks. Haru reminds Yuki that someone who only thinks of himself wouldn't have come to talk to him, and thanks him. Haru tells Yuki that he was dumped by Rin, and Yuki is surprised. Haru says that's what made him snap. Yuki asks if Aikido knows. Haru says it was a secret. He thinks that Shigure may be in on them, but this is the first time he's told anyone. Haru says that Rin has been acting differently since she got injured. She runs away from the hospital. He suddenly has no idea what she's thinking. And then she dumped him. Why? He says, and I still want to see her so bad. Yuki asks what he'll do now, and he's like, get yelled at? And Yuki's like, that's not what I meant. And then Haru gets called away before he can speak more. At the dojo, Kyo trains, and during a break, he rests his hands on his knees and notices his bracelet again. He remembers pushing Tohru away while in his true form, and wonders who he is to tell Tohru to stay away from Black Haru. Shisho asks if anything is bothering him. He was unfocused today, and Kyo says it's nothing. Later that night, Haru returns to the hospital to see Rin. He's about to knock on the door but walks away. And in the room, however, Rin isn't there. At school the next day, the kids discuss plans. Kyo looks out the window grumpily. If we're going to Kyoto, Hana says, consulting a guidebook, eating arashiyama tofu is a must. Good, make that lunch, Uo says. And they notice okonomiyaki in the guidebook, and then they make a change of plans so they can snack on some other stuff as well. And Yuki's like, aside from food, can we visit temples too? Can we just do that in between meals? Uo asks.
This is exactly how I approach my trip plans, so I approve.
Basically, my note says I think that priorities are in the right place. Especially going to Japan.
Yeah.
You're like, and it's like, okay, I want to go to this restaurant, eat this thing, and then this temple is nearby, so let's go to that one. Yeah. I still realized that I've been to Arashiyama, which I was not aware of until I looked this up. Because I didn't plan it. I was just like, my husband was like, let's go to this place to see the bamboo, and I was like, okay, cool. And then didn't ask exactly where it was, but looked it up later, and I was like, oh, that is the place. Anyway, so, fun fact. Uo tries to get Kyo to chime in on trip plans, but then they're interrupted again by Luigi coming in and saying something terrible has happened. Haru's been suspected, and Yuki's like, don't you mean suspended? And then reassures Luigi that Haru will be back soon. Kyo chimes in that he can use the time at home to chill out. And after school, Yuki and Tohru walk home. Tohru is still worried about Haru. Yuki too is concerned, and he decides to go see how Haru is doing at the main estate. Tohru offers to go with him, but Yuki's determined to go alone. Tohru arrives home and tells Shigure that Yuki went back to the Soma house. Well, how about that? Shigure says with a smile. At the main house entrance, Yuki remembers again Aikido painting the wall with black paint, and being terrified as a child, and he coughs and wheezes. He looks up and sees Rin entering the main gate and chases after her. He hesitates at the gate, remembering the past again, but then steps across the threshold. Inside, he chases after Rin, but runs into some of the family's attendants. One of the maids welcomes him home, but then sasses him about not returning for the New Year's banquet. Aikido-sama was worried sick, she says. Return to his side before you do anything irreparable. Yuki cuts her off and says that he's busy and runs off. At Haru's, Yuki finds him playing video games in his room. Whoa, Yuki's doppelganger is here. A mystery, Haru says. Yuki says it's really him, and Haru tries to get him to take a peace sign selfie. Peace. You too, Yuki, peace. I was really happy they kept this in for the manga. He's like, peace. You too, Yuki, peace. So good. Yuki, however, has none of it. Haru says that it's been a long time since he came back to the main estate, and Yuki is happy that Haru seems well. Yuki says that he just saw Rin, and Haru says she must have run away from the hospital. He says he's not giving up on her for now, and Yuki smiles and tells him to do his best. Haru says Yuki should do his best to call Tohru by her first name. Is it too embarrassing after all this time? He asks, and Yuki blushes and pouts. It is. Got a problem with that? Oh, you're pouting. Peace, Haru says, and Yuki's like, I'm leaving! Before getting a photo. At home, despite everyone's hunger, Tohru waits for Yuki to come home, and Shigure pretends to have an email to have to send to Michan in order to wait. At the dojo, Kyo trains alone. Yuki runs home out of the main house, and we see Rin standing on the grounds behind him. The wind rustles her hair, and that's the end of the episode.
Dun, dun, dun.
A mystery.
That's like my favorite joke.
It's something that I definitely don't remember until we did this reread, and it's also like my new favorite joke. Every time something happens, I'm like, a mystery.
Yeah.
I guess fairies do exist.
Just the way he says it in the anime too.
Mystery. I love how he's like, peace, Yukimo, peace. So good. Yeah, now we're forced to watch the subtitled version, which is fine. I mean, like, I'm not bothered, but
yes, yes, no discussion of the dub this time.
Yeah, I was kind of sad because I wanted to hear Rin's. I mean, there's still not a lot of Rin's voice acting. She said like 3 lines, but I was excited to hear her like dub voice. But yeah, I guess we don't get to.
Yeah, it was a little sad when I was like getting ready to sit down and do it, because usually if I have time to do both, I'll like watch the subtitle and like take the notes and everything, like paying more attention to it, and then I'll like put the dub on while I'm like having a dinner or something, because then I don't have to pay as much attention since it's in a language I understand.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And then just like take note of and like take note of differences and stuff. But so I was like, all right, I'll do that, and then I'll eat. And I was like, oh wait.
Oh, I have to stare completely at this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but regardless, it was an interesting episode. Yeah, still sad face about Funimation, but that's okay. It'll come back.
Yeah.
We'll just have to enjoy it later.
Yep.
To ourselves. As we eat dinner or whatever.
Yeah, everything's just been delayed by like half a year.
Everything.
This year.
The whole year's been delayed.
Literally everything.
By a half a year to a year. Like, for example, in the case of the Olympics.
Yeah.
The 2020 Olympics will be in 2021.
Are they gonna, I was thinking about this earlier, it has nothing to do with Fruits Basket. Like, are they gonna like offset the future Olympics, or is the one that comes after gonna be in 3 years instead of 4?
I assume they won't, because they plan it so far in advance. Like, unless something happens so much. I don't actually know. I'm just that's conjecture. But I think they, like, the Winter Olympics was already planned, and they announced the cities so far in advance. You have to build all the infrastructure. Like,
yeah,
I'm sure they won't.
Like, I imagine they won't change the Winter Olympics, but like,
no.
It's like, is it going to be like 2021, 2025,
25?
2029 now instead of?
So. I think they're just like, we can do what we want. The 2020 Olympics will be in 2021, and everything else will be the same.
They still like brand it as the 2020 Olympics and everything.
They probably will.
Like even though it's in 2021, and then.
But like the last time.
Be like watching it like in syndication. Like,
we went to Japan in November 2019, and they were selling 2020 Olympics merch. Like, they've been selling Olympics merch for like 2 years. Like, they're not gonna change it now. Maybe they'll rebrand all the digital stuff or something, but I seriously doubt it.
Maybe the 2020 stuff will be collector's items now, like misprinted like cards and stuff.
That's like, I always wonder. So, you know, like, I don't know. You don't watch the Super Bowl, do you? Not much, but
not really.
Okay, so let's say in theory you watched the Super Bowl or like the Stanley Cup or whatever, any of those like major sporting events. Whatever the fuck the NBA one is, don't come at me. Let's say, for example, you watch those. They have like immediately have like T-shirts and like hats and shit that are like whatever team winners of the whatever year Super Bowl. And I'm always like, what do they do with the other ones? Because it's not like they printed them on the spot. It's not like they waited till the second half and then printed new shirts. You know what I mean? I was like, do they just burn the other ones? Like, what happens? Yeah. If anyone knows, let me know. So yeah, what I'm saying is maybe they'll just burn all the. I'm sure they do. Like the Seahawks didn't win the whatever Olympics. Well, sports. So. Maybe
they wind up in the alternate universe where they did win.
Exactly. Yeah, there's actually the NFL also owns all the technologies for a porthole to other dimensions. Yeah, so that's what they do with all the leftover merch. So I don't know. Maybe they'll just maybe they'll just burn all the 2020 merch. That's what I'm trying to say.
Then they can sell tickets to the 2020 Olympic bonfire.
Ooh.
They use the torch. Bonfire merch.
They use the torch to light it.
Yeah, that's how they keep the torch going. Is they burn
all the old merch.
Yeah.
I like this. We can venture into a new realm of headcanon about anything. Apparently, this is
yes, even real life.
Yeah, the Olympics headcanon. It's what everyone signed up for listening to this podcast. I'm sure.
It's topical.
So. Yeah. People who listen to this series like 5 years from now will be like, what? Except they'll all remember coronavirus, so it won't be like that.
Yeah.
Maybe if this lives in the ether for like 20 years, people
they'll be like, oh my god, I can't believe it was 5 years ago.
They'll be like, damn, I'm old. That's how it happens every time I think about something that happened in the past. All right, good. Well, now that we've talked that up, So this was an interesting episode because I think it's the most, we said last time it was the most changed material so far, but I think this one is the most changed material so far because I think they added a bunch of scenes.
It seems like I think they added some, and like some were kind of like, I think they're like modified versions of
That's what
other
it seemed
scenes because
like.
they were like familiar, but they happened at a like different time and
Time or
place.
different place.
Yeah.
Like the one that I'm still confused about is like the maid scene. Because I feel like Yuki got sassed by maids, but definitely wasn't at this point.
Yeah, I think that was if I remember right, it was when he was going to get like the permission slip signed
From his mom.
from his parents, and he like went back there, and the maids were like, "Oh, if you'd told us you were coming."
Yeah,
and
it could be that. I was trying to find it, but
yeah, I looked at it earlier, like just briefly, so I don't remember like the chapter number or anything, but
yeah, I understand what you're talking about.
yeah, because like that's what I remembered it being, and I was like, I went to like check real quick, but
Okay.
I didn't check really thoroughly.
Didn't make a list of every single chapter that was referenced like I did in that one episode. That's fine.
Yeah, and like Yuki like seeing Rin, like I don't think he ever saw her in that particular situation, but
yeah, this scene where she walks around the main house like at this point in the story, I don't think happened in the manga. Like we see other scenes, like without spoiling anything, we see other scenes where she goes to the main house, so it's not like crazy, but
yeah, and we've seen like
wasn't
Yuki
this
like
time.
catch sight of her, like
yeah,
like
in
try
places.
to find her again. But
Yeah. But yeah, so it was like that, and then there was this scene of Kyo in the dojo being like, who am I to tell Tohru not to avoid Haru? And I don't think that specifically happened either, but I feel like he has thought other things like that, though. I forget. Those were the ones that I couldn't really place.
Yeah, I think the Kyo was like a new scene, like that one. I don't think that one was really a modified version of a scene. It's one that like fits other thoughts he's had and stuff. Like I don't think anything like that specific scene happened like with the other ones.
I agree with you. I don't know. I don't think there was a specific scene like that. We never see him training in the dojo ever. So,
Yeah, I made a note of the dojo scene. Like we talked a little bit in the last episode about how like we liked how like Ayame's shop felt like really lived in since we were able to see more of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, the dojo has other students and they're training.
Wow, shocking.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's nice to see the like, you know, the dojo looking a little more lived in too.
Yeah, because like at the dojo before, there was like in the manga at least, like what we've seen of people at the dojo is like Shisho, like 2 random students when Kyo was little was a baby in like his memory, and then like Kunimitsu, and I think that's it. And then we know like Haru and some other people like trained, but we never see them training there. So like oh, an actual class. Shisho's like teaching. The actual dojo is a huge room, as it turns out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So that was exciting. That was nice. I thought the scene was fitting, in terms of like, yeah, I think you said it well when you said like, it matches some of the things that he's like thought or the way that he kind of acts. But I don't think but it was a new scene, so that was cool.
Yeah, it kind of felt like this anime's version of like the scene where he spots the like bandage still on Tohru's like shoulder after the true form arc.
Did they
Since
have
like
that
they
scene?
obviously no.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been too long for them to have that scene now. So
Like shit. He needs to feel regrets.
yeah, I kind of feel like they wanted to make like it feel like more time passed since it was like a season break.
Yeah, that's true.
So they didn't want to like have her like still like it's like, oh, she's still got the bandage. And so I think this is kind of their way of approaching the like emotion of that scene of like Kyo feeling guilt over hurting her.
Yeah, I thought it was a good approach.
Yeah, and we got some nice little like Kazuma Kyo like bits
good
there
dad
too.
Kazuma. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, oh, are you worried about something? He goes like, no, leave me alone, or whatever. That's not true. That's not what happened. I just, I took it there.
Yeah. I just don't understand, Dad.
Leave me alone, Dad. Also, like, Yuki decides to go. He does decide to go to visit Haru at the main house, but they don't have this like. I don't think there's like this scene where I don't remember him like talking to Tohru about it. I think he just like decided to go, and it was like a to-do I don't know. Oh, I didn't bring.
Yeah, and he says like I think he tells Haru he snuck in, so he didn't go through the main gate.
He definitely didn't walk through the front door. Was not confronted by anyone. He definitely snuck in.
Yeah.
But it's just like he says he's going to do it, and then he goes to he's the next scene is like in Haru's room or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's a good way of combining like the Haru story with Yuki's growing what do I want to say?
His growth. His growing.
Yeah,
growth.
like his his whole thing with like confronting things he's like scared of and uncomfortable with.
Yes. And in the anime episode, they have Tohru kind of like offer to go with him, and he's like, "No, I want to do it myself." So that makes that very explicit.
Yeah.
And they also added the scene where Tohru goes and like tells Shigure that he's going to the main house, and he's like, "Really?" So like they really play up how difficult it is for him, which I think is a good adaptation.
Yeah, I just kind of pulled in some internal stuff that the characters like go through in a couple different spots of the manga, and just kind of like put them into like kind of coalesce them into a couple concrete scenes rather than like spread out moments.
Yeah, it was definitely like kind of coalescing a bunch of feelings from other times.
Yeah,
so. And in a way that makes it more like that makes it very clear to the audience. So that's nice, because I think that like in the manga, some of those ideas are built up to kind of slowly. Like it'll be like one chapter about this, and then like even if you notice like the pieces about Haru, they're like 2 or 3 chapters apart. I forget, it was like 43 and 45 or something. So there's a whole set of things that happened in between. So I feel like that's kind of just a Natsuki Takaya thing, where like she draws out certain elements of the story for a long time, whereas in the anime they compress it a little bit to make it clearer, which I think
yeah, it's also
just tactic.
Yeah, just a necessity of the different mediums too.
Yes.
like any kind of written format, like you can do like longer stuff, it feels like, in written formats.
Yeah.
And also you're able to see more like internal thoughts of characters.
Yeah.
In like a way that doesn't feel like weird. like
like,
we have like it's like Fruits Basket is full of those little like thought narrations where we see like the little square bubbles of people's thoughts that go across like long scenes, and you can't really do that with like a voiceover. Would be awkward in most cases. So
for like a long one, if it's not just like a thought, you can have like and sometimes we talk about it. I think it like I've struggled to narrate about it sometimes, to talk about it sometimes, and we'll call it like thought narration. Like they're kind of thoughts, but they're kind of used as narration. But then you can't really. I think the style of this anime, they wouldn't do the same kind of thing. Like they wouldn't use a extensive voiceover like that. It's not like a series that's where everything is super like internalized. Like I think there's other series where people do that, and like other animated or like filmed media where there are like extensive kind of thought voiceover. But in this case, like
like you can do it, but it's kind of it's a notable thing. Like people will be like, oh, it's a creative decision to do that, rather than in like a like natural storytelling.
Yeah, storytelling.
So it makes
something.
Yeah. I was gonna say like a natural storytelling, like, and then I was just like
Approach?
Natural storytelling works.
Tactic.
Yeah.
A natural storytelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, for sure. So so they add those little scenes in there, like Tohru is waiting for him and she's hungry, and then Shigure is like, oh, I'm gonna go write this fake email to Michan and whatever. They made Shigure seem very nice.
Yeah, it was a nice Shigure moment.
Yeah, Dad Gure.
Yeah,
as the kids call him.
Yeah, I liked it because it's like, I think it's believably nice for Shigure. Like,
yeah,
like it shows him like, you know, his
like, nice. People who
his kind of his like intuition's not the right word, like observational skills. Like he picks up on stuff pretty easily, and then like
he knows what she's doing.
Yeah. And being able to be like, oh well,
I'll play along with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. People who only listen to the anime episodes don't realize how much I dislike Shigure yet. That's fine. maybe they do. I don't know. Anyway,
he hasn't been as like at his Shigure-est
no
yet in the anime, so
he's still being nice. I do think that he would. I think he would care that Yuki goes back to the main house or whatever. So
yeah,
I buy it. I just thought it was funny and it was cute. I'm trying to think if there's something. Well, we could talk about the other things that were kind of in the in the actual chapters, which were about Haru, basically. The things that were actually like the material this primarily drew from in the manga was this Haru tearing up the classroom, which was almost exactly the same, presented in exactly the same way, and then Yuki going and talking to him in his room. I really enjoyed his room. It's unrelated to the story, but
I liked his video game that
Yuki, Haru,
he
and Kyo.
named the characters after.
I was like, haha, that's great. They also had his like desk with a bunch of tools on it, and I was like, oh, it's for his. I was like, why are there a bunch of saws in Haru's room? Oh, it's for his jewelry. So like, I guess some backstory if you've never read the series is that in one of the author's notes it says that Haru makes all his own jewelry, so like all the stuff that he wears he makes it himself. So there's like a workstation for all his jewelry, which I thought was cute. It was a nice addition without it being super it's not like they pointed it out or anything. So
yeah,
it's cute. Hat tip to people who know, I guess. I liked it.
Yeah.
In summary, we learned that Haru and Rin were dating and she broke up with him, and that's why he's upset. Essentially, in a nutshell. Great Teacher Mayuko broke up the fight. That was also great.
Yeah.
I was excited to see her.
They like definitely expanded the Rin stuff a bit and made it more like obvious like what was going on, because I think at the time of the chapter it wasn't totally clear who Rin was yet.
Yeah.
And it's still not totally clear who Rin is, but in the anime, but like I don't even think they like named her in the chapter yet.
I think because they have the scene. There's like the one scene where Haru calls her Rin, or sorry, Hiro visits her in the hospital and calls her Rin, and I think that they had that. So it's like you'd seen her.
Yeah, I just mean in the chapter itself, like the conversation with Haru. Like I don't think they like explicitly named it. You're just like, oh, it's that girl in the hospital that we saw earlier, rather than it being like, I got dumped by Rin. You know, Rin.
Rin, that girl.
Yeah.
Rin. There was that scene. I skimmed through this part just to see how different it was, and there's like even that memory where they're walking together and like holding hands was in there and stuff. So they did make it's connected, I guess, but not so explicit.
Yeah.
I like it's interesting how little they chose to show Rin's face. Like basically you only see it like at the end of the episode, even in his memories and stuff. I mean, I don't think there's any reason for that other than it's kind of like a reveal, but they already showed her face in that one with Hiro, I think, so.
She's mysterious.
Yeah. Running around, the wind blowing her hair at night. Also, she's been out, so she was out of the hospital the night, and then Yuki went to the Soma estate the next day, so she's been out for like more than 24 hours. So. Or maybe 2 times in 24 hours, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing that I noticed that I guess it's not really a change, but it's never explicit, is that they actually chose to call the hospital Soma General Hospital. Did you notice?
Yeah. I was like, do they own the hospital?
I wouldn't be surprised if they owned a hospital, I guess, because they're rich, right? And I guess you can have private hospitals in Japan. I don't know. Not super familiar with the health system, but I just thought it was interesting that they chose to call it that and have it be like a place that's owned by the Somas. So. Or named after them, at least. So you get
maybe they just made a really big donation.
Can you have naming rights for a hospital? Like, I don't know how it works.
No, they name wings after people.
That's true.
Maybe they could name a whole hospital.
Yeah, maybe with enough money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's also, again, a sports metaphor. You know, stadiums have like name sponsorship, naming rights. So, hospitals have naming rights. I don't know. It's like the Kit Kat Hospital for the Nestle Hospital. Hospital sponsored by Under Armour. I don't know.
I was gonna make a joke about the mattresses that are always advertised on podcasts, but I couldn't remember the name.
Like Casper?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hospital by Casper. It's this very small hospital that comes in a box that comes to your door. And it unfolds slowly. I've done it. I've made the joke. I thought Yuki's voice actor in this, when he was really shouty and then really pouty, which was funny to me. So like when he's talking to Haru, he's like, you need to think of yourself more. And he was very shouty. And then later when he goes to visit Haru was like, well, you should work on Tohru, and he's like, well, what if I don't wanna? Or like, it's embarrassing, which was really funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun to see since he's like more portrayed more stoically in the first anime.
Mm-hmm. And also like up to now in the anime too, I think.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
Yeah, I was saying like because of like how little it adapted.
Yeah.
Like we didn't get that much Yuki character development in the early part of the manga.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So it's fun to see more wide range of emotions from him.
More emotions, yeah. Like extreme disappointment in the case of the student council nominees. And other stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. He seems to have a pretty close relationship with Haru too, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely it makes it come across more that they're genuinely friends, not it being like a one-sided thing from Haru's perspective.
Yeah.
Which I think it can come off from like the early interactions where he mostly seems exasperated by him.
Mm-hmm. Yuki's like, I'm trying to help you, and Haru's like, let me give you some advice, sage advice for your life.
Yeah.
Yuki's like, stop thinking about me all the time, think about yourself. Yeah. Any other things you want to say before spoilers?
I don't think so.
Okay. I feel like we said some things, we made some jokes. I feel like we've hit all the notes.
Yeah.
Okay. Next time we'll see you for episode, unless you're going to listen to spoilers, we'll see you for episode 5, which is called Wait for Mitoro Soba.
Good episode titles.
When I saw that, I was like, this is the best. I complained all last season about how lame the episode titles were, but I'm very pleased by that. Most of these so far have been pretty good because there was there's this one's I Got Dumped, but the last one was Let's Go and Get You Changed, and it was very sweet. So yeah, I'm excited for Wait for Me Toro Soba.
Like how they're like a really random line, and like half the time they don't even aren't even an important part of the episode.
No. I mean, I Got Dumped is pretty important, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's Go and Get You Changed has nothing to do with the rest of the episode because it's mostly about Ayame and Yuki.
Mm-hmm.
It should be like some really long quote from Ayame that's like, it should be like, I admire your kindness and you obviously admire my grandeur and charisma.
Yeah.
It takes up the whole episode card.
Yeah.
The font is very, very small. Anyway, that'll be fun. Mm-hmm. Who doesn't like soba? I mean,
I like soba.
I think when we talked about that content that is coming up for that episode, that I said that if I've had Tororo, that I didn't like it and it was awful. That was my take, but I don't know if
I haven't had Tororo soba, but I've had
soba.
Normal soba.
And it's delicious. Something to look forward to for next time. It's
talk
more
about
talk about food.
Like Hana.
It's so good. That was also hilarious to me. They were like, yeah, we talked about that already, but
yeah.
All right, good. All right, let's talk about spoilers. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hey, we're back to talk about spoilers and also more food. I mean,
yes.
Oh, I don't know why we didn't talk about this before, but I wanted to talk about the lid. Yuki's. This is the first time he mentioned the lid. The lid. And I really liked the weird imagery that they used with it, where it was underwater.
Yeah.
So it's not only is it something in a box, it's underwater. It's so deeply buried. I thought that was an interesting choice.
Gave his feelings the cement shoes treatment.
Pretty much. He's like, I'll feed my feelings to the fishes.
My feelings an offer they can't refuse.
To go under the sea, to the bottom of the deepest CCC.
Yes.
To see what they can CCC. I was trying to remember the rest of the song. It's there's a box with a lid and the hole at the bottom of the sea.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of myself. Anyway, in terms of spoilers, of course, that's setting up all the stuff that's coming for the beach and whatnot, and a bunch of Yuki's development later. But yeah, I just particularly enjoyed that reference and the way that they chose to represent it. So
yeah,
not for any particular symbolic reason, but just because it was enjoyable to see it underwater.
It is a good image. It gets the point across.
It does. It's so buried and It also, I feel like it, so they actually showed it with, like, the reason you know it's underwater is because they're bubbles, and I feel like that actually, like, kind of implies that there's something inside that could, like, get out or is trying to, is being suppressed or being covered. I don't know, it's kind of nice when I think about it in detail. I noticed that it's been a long time since we talked about the hat.
Yeah.
Hat. There's a scene, there's at least one more scene before the beach, like right before, I think, where doesn't Kyo see the hat? They haven't had that scene yet. Then there's, like, other stuff where it's, like, revealed that it was Yuki and whatever. It all has to come later. But I was like, it's been a long time since they brought up the lid. Maybe they'll bring the hat back soon.
Yeah, I think the Yuki reveal actually comes up pretty soon in the timeline here.
Yeah, it should be.
I think it might have even been before the beach.
I don't remember.
And remember, we get the, like, reveal that it's Yuki long before we get the full explanation.
Because, like, I think maybe the reveal that it's Yuki is the one that's before the beach, because is that all the scene where they're studying and the tree comes through her window and shit? And then Yuki sees the hat, and then Rin comes to the house and she's like, I didn't break the window. That's all before the beach, so
yeah.
That was the scene that I was thinking of.
It's, like, my favorite Rin line. She's like, I didn't do
it. It's like, nobody thought
He's
that
like,
it was
I
you.
didn't think you did.
Yeah. I didn't think you shoved a tree branch through the window. So how long have you been creeping there? Like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's really funny. I didn't do it. I don't know. There's something
like,
really
habit
funny
of
about
breaking windows that someone wouldn't suspect any broken window to be your fault.
She just doesn't want anyone to think that she's causing trouble.
Yeah. It's like, I know I break most windows, but this one wasn't me.
It's like, oh, it's Rin again.
Yeah.
Heard a window
Tossing
break.
tree branches around.
I mean, Kyo was the one who broke the ceiling, so.
Yeah.
Rin just isn't on the, like, property damage train like everybody else.
Yeah.
Apparently. I feel like the things that were kind of spoiled by this. So, like, I guess the one thing about having so we said that when we talked about the non-spoilery stuff, that having Kyo's, the scenes where he's looking at his bracelet and all this stuff is kind of, now there's some foreshadowing of some of his hang-ups around Tohru, because we haven't had all of that yet in the anime, so.
Yeah.
And it probably is going to help foreshadow saying that he'll protect her and stuff like that too, and, like, his issues around that. So I thought that was an interesting choice.
Yeah, and I think it paired well with the like, the other stuff going on in this episode with, like, them, like, they start off, like, teasing him about Tohru, and then, like, him getting mad about Haru and everything. So
and also kind of, like, also pairs with, like, Haru telling Yuki to be less formal with her. So it's like about them getting, like, closer to her, I guess, kind of.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a good choice. But that's something that's kind of, like, foreshadowed that wouldn't normally be if you didn't have that scene. So I wanted to call that out specifically. Is there any other spoilery things that you noticed?
Not really.
Yeah. Obviously there's, like, the Rin and Haru stuff. I feel like I've talked about that every episode. every anime break episode until now. It's like, it's coming. But I'm excited. It's fine.
Yeah. It's more just like
Rin.
It's more like setup than spoilers.
Yeah, exactly. In this case, yeah.
Because it's not like you'd be like, oh, I have no idea what's going to happen from here. It's like, obviously this is setting up, like, Rin and Haru stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, at this point now.
Yeah.
So then the episode that's coming up next time, that was a quote from Uo.
Yeah. Convenience Store Man.
It's Convenience Store Man. The debut of Convenience Store Man. I saw
official.
Yeah. I saw some promo images that I think that have been already on Tumblr that it looks like they also included the haunted house. So we're one step closer to the beach.
Which is funny because when we like just talking about, like, they're probably not going to do that part.
Yeah, I definitely made that prediction. I laid my prediction skills on the line, and I was wrong. Boy, was I wrong. I should have known better. It's the perfect material to be animated. Why would you think that it wouldn't be?
Yeah.
I guess also if they want to have, like, not a lot of stuff about Kureno, like, they need to have that part and then have him come back later. So you'd have to find something else to fill it with, and I guess that's the only thing that's left at this point. So
yeah, because there's not really a whole, like, episode's worth of Kureno and Uo
not
at
yet.
this point.
Because they wouldn't want to have the whole, like, she has to not see him for a while before she sees him again, and then has the whole, like, I thought our time together was great, you know. That was important to me, that scene.
Yeah.
So there has to be some
Well,
time.
I think they'll do both of those because like that was all like one chapter.
I thought so.
It's just like it's just that it doesn't take very long. It's like they met and it was cute, and then like they met again, and then he like
He was like, I can never
goes
see you
home,
again.
and it's like dun dun dun. He's with a keto.
He's a Soma. Convenience store man is a Soma. We know his true identity. Well, anyway, we'll see. But those are the promo images that I saw, so I can't even not speculate that it's not going to happen. the haunted house. But it's fine.
Like maybe it's a setup. It's a false lead.
They like just did those like 3. There's like one scene that's like 2 seconds where it's like, and then we went to a haunted house, and it's just from Ouija being like, and this guy, and then that's the end. It was a promo for the next promo. I mean,
yes.
Yeah, I don't know, but anyway, that'll be fun. We'll get to see Kureno.
Yeah.
In action. Think of how sad he'll be. It'll be great.
Yeah.
He's gonna be such a derp. This like the first part is where he drops all the chips. It'll be funny.
Yeah. Yeah, because like so far we've seen like a glimpse of him in the car with a keto, and then he's like in the little like Soma walking lineup in the opening.
The Soma parade. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good. I feel like that's everything that's kind of coming up next time / was spoiled by this. So.
Yep.
All right. Good. All right. We'll see you next time for Tororo Soba. Then everybody bring your own soba. I mean,
yes. BYOS.
It's the best kind of party.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for listening through all our banter. I mean, but I know that's what you secretly wanted in the first place.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Hello, it's Ellen. If you want to send us a question, you can find us on Twitter at staytogetherpod, on Tumblr at staytogetherpodcast.tumblr.com, or you can send us an email at staytogetherpodcast@gmail.com. Kayla and I want to keep creating podcasts and keep them ad-free, so if you like what you're listening to, please consider giving to our Ko-fi at ko-fi.com/staytogethernetwork. Thank you always for listening and for all your support. We'll see you next time.